Math is not everyone's favorite subject. It is difficult, stressful, and entails a lot of formulas and terminologies that not everyone can follow easily. That is why for today's video, we will tackle this literary work entitled Math Anxiety: Personal, Educational, and Cognitive Consequences by Mark Ashcraft from the Department of Psychology, Cleveland State University.
It is stated in this paper that math anxiety disrupts cognitive processing by compromising ongoing activity in working memory. There should be more research as to where our math anxiety originates to assess the emotional and cognitive components.
A lot of people experience such hardships in dealing with math or any involved number problems. Some felt sudden discomfort and nervousness that would eventually lead them to burst into tears. There are also college students who cannot solve basic math problems.
How does math anxiety defined and measured? Math anxiety is commonly defined as a feeling of tension, apprehension, or fear that interferes with math performance. To measure math anxiety, a tool called the Mathematics Anxiety Rating Scales is utilized. In this test, participants rate themselves on the level of anxiety they would feel in various everyday situations.
Or you can simply ask, on a scale from 1 to 10, how math anxious are you? And if I were to answer that question, I would say 11 out of 10. Highly math anxious individuals avoid math, and when they take math, they usually receive lower grades.
Now, let's proceed to math anxiety and math competence. An obvious but unfortunate consequence of the avoidance tendency is that, compared with people who do not have math anxiety, highly math anxious individuals end up with lower math competence and achievement. They receive lower grades and are unmotivated to learn. They sometimes just give up.
Fortunately, there are ways out of this dilemma. One is to test additional samples of participants on untimed, pencil and paper versions of the math problems studied in the lab. Second, where they utilize a standard math achievement test for individuals with low, medium, or high math anxiety, and replicated the overall result. In this scoring method, they found out that there were no math anxiety effects in the first half of the test, but math anxiety effects were apparent only in the second half of the test, which introduced mixed fractions.
With that, as a teacher, we must bring the students near to their math level to let them practice, learn, and improve on the process as it gets higher. To proceed, let's learn what are the cognitive consequences of math anxiety. In Ashcraft and Frost studies, they found out that math anxiety has only minimal effects on performance with single digits, addition, and multiplication problems.
But did you know that arithmetic problems with larger numbers showed two substantial math anxiety effects? First, participants with high levels of anxiety routinely responded rapidly to these problems. They tend to answer it faster or avoid the tests. Second, the results showed that addition problems with carrying were especially difficult for highly math anxious individuals. Their minds cannot comprehend and work properly if the given numbers need more solutions or ways, which would result in errors. So stressful, right?
Due to their multiple testing, they have come up with an answer that general anxiety is hypothesized to disrupt ongoing working memory processes because anxious individuals devote attention to their intrusive thoughts and worries rather than the task at hand.
Really? So that means that having fear or dislike of math subject will lead the individual to math anxiety?
Yes, indeed. If one has math anxiety, it will lower their performance since their intrusive thoughts will be clouded and disrupt the individual thinking. Also, recalling simple facts is a burden for those with a high level of math anxiety.
Although this paper entails lots of theories revolving around math anxiety, there are also what we call the gaps in the evidence. Math anxiety is a bona fide anxiety reaction, a phobia according to Faust in 1992, with both immediate cognitive and long-term educational implications. They haven't reached the exact answer as to where math anxiety originates.
Other gaps in the evidence involve the cognitive consequences of math anxiety, including those that interfere with an accurate assessment of math achievement and competence.
Finally, as research on mathematical cognition turns increasingly towards the methods of cognitive neuroscience, it will be interesting to see what signature math anxiety has in the brain activity. Their literary work suggests that the effects of math anxiety should also be evident in neural pathways and regions known to reflect working memory activity.
Imagine how many students feared mathematics and still haven't got the hangover from it. They struggle a lot and they haven't found any coping mechanism for it.
I agree. But as future educators, we must be reminded to be patient and show compassion towards the students. To relieve the stress, we need to impose fun and exciting activities relating to math, for their love for the subject will grow sooner or later. Find effective ways to how to efficiently deal with mathematics. Following the curriculum guide is one of it, but to teach it in a manner where students can understand it must be prioritized and taken care of.
Thank you and continue to study hard.
Good day everyone. We are going to tackle on the study called Teaching Math Problem Solving Using a Web-Based Tutoring System, Learning Games, and Student Writing. It is a very interesting study indeed.
Yes, and who exactly are the authors of this amazing study?
One of the researcher is Robert Malloy, Senior Lecturer, Second, a Teacher Education and School Improvement Education, BA, University of Massachusetts, Amherst, 1969, MAT, 1971, Ed B. Boston University, 1976, Research. History and Social Studies Education, Teacher Education, Urban Education and Student Achievement, Community Service Learning, Writing across the curriculum, Department of Teacher Education and Curriculum Studies.
Another researcher are Sharon A. Edwards and Gordon Anderson.
Just what are the concepts of the study?
This article describes the use of a web-based mathematics tutoring system called Formality with 125 graders and their teachers in 3 rural Massachusetts school districts during the 2007 to 2008 school year. When the project began, Formality was envisioned as a standalone system that would provide test-taking and tutorial support to students as they prepared for a statewide math achievement exam. What evolved, however, was an approach to teaching math problem solving based on a combination of web-based tutoring, computer and non-computer learning games, and students' creative writing of math problems. So, these interventions proved successful. We found a mean gain of 25.51% in test scores from pre-test to post-test among all students participants, while 36 students participants registered gains of 40% or more from pre-test to post-test. So the difference between pre-test and post-test scores distributions was found to be statistically highly significant. From this study, we suggest that structured practice and creative exploration of math problem solving can be achieved through a blend of online and in-person learning activities.
How is it related to our fields of study?
The application of web-based learning is seen to have many benefits in helping to improve the quality of the teaching and learning process. Web-based learning approach will encourage the students to solve problems and self-learning and thus enable students to learn a mathematical concept without realizing it. In a problem-solving method, children learn by working on problems. This enables the students to learn new knowledge by facing the problems to be solved and new web to explore. The students are expected to observe, understand, analyze, interpret, find a solution, and perform applications that lead to a holistic understanding to the concept. And teachers who have mastered effective approaches and strategies in teaching can help increase the student knowledge and improve study outcomes.
That's all, everyone. Thank you.
Math, Teaching It Better. Author Sharon Friesen. Concept. The new math was a shift away from professors teaching students what to do and towards students learning via exploration, discovery, and hands-on learning. Mathematicians have taken on the challenge of teaching abstract mathematical concepts in a way that fosters deep understanding, relevance, and implication to your field. The emphasis on professional growth is one of the most promising differences between prior reform efforts and those being developed today. The classroom must be the starting point for meaningful mathematical reform. Teacher and students must both accept change if it is to succeed, understand and apply them in the context of their prior knowledge of mathematics.
Mathematics is valued by many people. It is utilized for numeracy and is unquestionably one of the foundation of a good education. Math problems are a concern all across the world, and a few major beliefs are becoming increasingly popular. These are the following. Math skills entail more than just numerical memorizing, formulas, and facts. It is critical to teach comprehension. Being proficient in arithmetic entails the ability to solve issues. Why precisely is mathematics important? What should a fully numeric person in today's society be able to do? What mathematics should be taught in school? And how should it be done? The first significant reform in Western mathematics teaching and learning was led by Gerbert D. Aurillac more than 1,000 years ago. He believed that for pupils to learn abstract mathematical concepts, they needed more than just explanations and lectures. So he emphasized the use of teaching aids and manipulatives that he devised and built to suit those demands. He broke with all precedent by designing charts, models, and instruments for demonstration and handling by his students, according to legend. Gerbert was an extraordinary pedagogue who was entirely committed to increasing his students' comprehension and also observant of his students' growing reasoning abilities by investigating innovative and mathematically sound methods. Many of his contemporaries attempted to emulate his tactics and devices as a result of his success. They failed to produce the learning and deep comprehension that Gerbert's students experienced because they were unwilling or unable to grasp the pedagogy required to support student learning and understanding with these technologies.
Three lessons emerge from Gilbert's unfortunate experience. First, among all the subjects taught in our schools, mathematics seems to present a unique problem. There is no other discipline in which the gap between the curriculum presented to the students and the body of knowledge it comprises the discipline is so great.
It won't be long before someone claims that it is a logical subject in which you must first understand the fundamental to prepare more complex arithmetic later on. It is simpler to add and subtract. Algebra is far more difficult to young children than multiplication. Being proficient at math entails getting correct answers quickly. You must also memorize a great deal. Even though excellent math reformers have been striving to promote these principles for a millennium, few people would use adjectives like messy, creative, or imaginative to describe mathematical thought.
Second, the secret of teaching mathematics well does not lie in borrowing teaching strategies.
Even those Gilbert's colleagues who admire his results and tried to emulate his success in their classroom had difficulties. There is simplistic and all too common of the curriculum as someone's to be delivered. Teaching, it is felt, and means just adapting better delivery method.
The third one, nobody is neutral about changes to the teaching of mathematics.
The history attempts to modify mathematics in the past. Mathematics is taught in school, and how it is taught imposes a significant cost of those willing to enter. The status appears to be defended nowhere with such passion.
Learning to improve, lessons learned from these latest reform efforts are only now emerging as tentative findings rather than as prescriptive recipes for change.
Among the promising are this.
Not all teaching methods are equal.
While every country has its own way of teaching mathematics, there are features that exemplify methods of teaching that help students achieve well.
When relationships between facts, procedure, concepts, and problem solving are attended to and made explicit in the mathematics classroom, student achievement increases. Reform recommendations disseminated through curriculum documents and delivered to teachers are insufficient to improve the teaching and learning of mathematics.
However, necessary solid standards, excellent curricula, innovative materials, and accountability, they are not sufficient to ensure that teachers increase students' mathematical understanding and achievement, nor do they ensure quality math teaching for all students.
Mechanism must be built into the teaching profession to permit teachers to improve gradual over time. We have come to understand that reasoning and problem solving have to be the focus of mathematics instruction in the classroom. Reasoning and problem solving requires students to learn how to generate, evaluate, justify, and revise mathematical models while solving problems.
Mathematics reforms in the past have shown to be successful and have never fully lived up to the expectation of their founders and supporters, or fears their adversaries and opponents. While the task of creating classroom in which students comprehend abstract and difficult mathematical ideas, see the relevance in the mathematics they are learning, and achieve mathematical competence appears daunting. As mathematics community, we are further along in knowing what to do to achieve these goals. We have made demonstrable progress by working together. Mathematicians, mathematics educators, and teachers who understand that mathematics reforms is a complex matter. There are no easy answers.
That will be all for our virtual seminar on the research Math Teaching It Better. Special thanks to our scribe, Tumampos and Lim, reporters Lariosa and Impuerto, producer Pacania, and our director Casañares.
The importance of using manipulative in teaching math today. By the way, the author of this article are Joseph M. Horner and Nancy L. Warren. Let's move on to the concept of this article. The concept of the article is to examine the research and application of manipulative mathematics in the classroom today. In the age of technology and standardized testing, however, the paper discusses a variety of regularly used arithmetic manipulatives in today's schools, as well as how they relate some of the common core math standards. It also looked at certain cognitive issues that arise in attitudes towards manipulative and their level of comfort with them are quotient. They were not chosen from a large group of math teachers. It might be determined that these teachers were better qualified than the average teacher engaged in standards learning.
Through the perception of this subject matter, it gets to grips with a wonderful mind, which includes wherein we are able to discover calculation and styles in nature. Many people's remarkable assumptions in the way mathematics is us inside the present-day world. This recounts the whole mathematics engaging with our nature. With all of this comprehension, the methods or sequences of the different mathematical processes may be evidenced in our situation, as well as from the most essential matters that we are able to see as much as the items across the universe. We cannot clearly deny that mathematics is one in all human lifestyle's largest revolution and a robust device that works so well. Through mathematics, even the complex situations which are taking place in our world, we are able to realize and describe a variety of stuffs considering all of this. Many mathematicians have stated that mathematics is a perceived in choice into creation. Now in this modern world, mathematics point out a big contribution, and this could be all around that it may be the crucial thing in our lives, and we have to seek with it all of our adaptability. Manipulatives have been used inside the classroom for years across the curriculum. In math classrooms today, teachers are using manipulatives in teaching in order to help their students to learn mathematics. On one hand, teachers understand that the use of manipulatives in teaching provides a concrete foundation for the learning abstract ideas, and it provides concrete objects for the learners or students to illustrate and describe. This article related to my work as a future teacher or educator through reaching out with my students and in creating the best learning experience inside the classroom throughout my teaching career. Through the use of manipulative in teaching mathematics, it could really help the teachers in their teaching process in order to make their discussions aligned with their lessons and topics, because alignment is really important between the content standards, performance standards, and learning competencies, and teachers help their students or learners in order to have a good performance and also helping their students to develop their skills and ability. It is a process that provides and demonstrates the students and the teachers with educational programs and experiences. On the other hand, schools are using manipulatives in teaching mathematics in order to produce the best and good quality education for students and to guide the teachers in their teaching professions and in doing their classes. It represents a statement about the students' potentials on what must students need to know and discover and what must students need to do, and it supports every teacher on how to pursue their goals, how to fulfill their commitment, and how to achieve greatness. Thus, the use of manipulative in teaching math could really help the teachers in enhancing the skills of their students throughout their learning modalities and learning outcomes in order for them to be creative, to be productive, and to be responsible students, and to be able to participate in different school activities across the curriculum, which eagers the students to focus more on their studies and to learn across the curriculum.